Sit more this way, so I'm not looking like
There.
extra large and
We
in
on
charge.
we on the mic. We back for another installment. Like I told y'all, if y'all looking for these episodes like previous ones, they not gonna be there. Like I said, I checked the website, they got my old debit card, so they can't even do what they did before, which was try to charge me the $500 instead of me putting in the discount code and getting the $250 or whatever. So they about to cut all the episodes from the past. So I think you can go all the way up to like 101 if you really wanted to check our shit out. Other than that, everything's on this black box. So I ain't, and that black box is for my daughter, for when and my kids, if they want to know my likeness and everything, everything's on this black box. Right, then they can send it 40 years from now to Jay's kids and all that other stuff too. So everything has been documented. This process, this time. Some of y'all believe in photo albums. I believe in having this black box with hours of video and audio recordings on it. So again, when you ask me what my motivation is to pod, Jay hit me up this week. JB hit me, and it'd be great. She be hitting me. Two things I got to get out of the way. One, JB hit me up, and
I didn't know you were gonna bring this up.
No, I know, but in a casual way.
In a casual way.
Because like I said, like podding is therapy for me right now. It's no longer a business thing for me, right? But if any businesses want to come out and pod with us, I got no problem with chopping this stuff up, giving you the clips and stuff, and doing those things. But like more so than anything, it's like this is like my Kobe tour.
Yeah.
At the end. So Jay hit me with some ideas of like growth, and I was like, yo, I'm not in the growth stage anymore right now. I'm here for therapeutic reasons. You know what I mean? I think both of us are, right? Like at this point, we here for therapeutic reasons. And she was coming up with shit. I was like, yo, I'm cool with those people coming. I was like, but any growth shit? Oh no, you can't grow. You're not about to water me, Jay, to grow and then leave and in a few weeks, right?
See, you're a little on to me, but that's not exactly. I had a very specific idea in mind for very specific things, because I feel like I gotta leave. What do they say? Leave your touch, leave a little glitter behind. So, that conversation, I know you never responded, but to me, I'm moving forward with what I want to make to present to you. I feel like once he has the visuals, he'll be able to see the vision.
And I did not. What's funny is that.
So yeah, and exactly. I think I presented the package to you too soon.
No, you presented it at a time where like the people at my job.
Yeah.
So I train people. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm training 9 people right now.
Yeah.
On top of the people that help me also have their own responsibilities. So like my conversations have been off with you. I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, like there's only 2 people I call and not on purpose, right? But there's only 2 people I make sure I check in with, right? my boy D, right? And then I call my wife around 4:30. She don't talk to me all day. And she don't even send me messages because she knows if I don't call her before I'm on my way to go pick up the kids to go to practice or do something happened.
Yeah.
Even my mom has been hitting me up like about some things that I need to take care of. And I've been lagging in that department too because my day is dictated by, like the way my job is set up is that there's things that I have to take care of before I go home. I'll never be caught up in the work that I do. Right. And so, because, what I do, kind of like what Jess was talking about, is I deal with human problems. Right. And so human problems are unique just as much as our DNA. So the people that I've been training, they've been taking, and they're new. They've only been here for like 90 days. Right. And the stuff that I do takes about a year or 2 before you actually feel comfortable. What I tell people is, it'll take you a year to stop asking questions.
Wow.
It'll take you 2 years to feel like you can make your own decisions and come to me and say, blah, blah, blah. Now, the caveat to that is that most people don't stay because the shit is hard.
Yeah.
So you like every time it's a revolving door, especially with COVID and everything else. So to Jay's other point, I read her card. I even read it again today just because I ain't never went back and double back with somebody's card, but I wanted to make sure that I got my shit right. I thought it was a great message, and it was one of those things that I needed to hear at that time when I read it, last Sunday, and I read it, again today. where it was like, all right, like you want to feel like the work that you put in and the way that you affect people and experience people and they experience you is for something.
Yeah.
And the reason why that was a big deal for me is because my friends will shoot me, you know, black people funny. That's why we was talking about, hey, man, look at him trying to be better. Your friends will shoot you down, which will, you know, ground you and bring you back to earth. But I also, you know, need to hear where my impact is. So, you know, for me, I think that it was a very beautiful message. I did see the back. So I did read the back. And I struggle with that. So, like, the reason why I haven't been so quick to say, I'm done with this pod and, like, fuck it and, like, don't show up and all this other stuff is because, like, so much of this pod is a part of me. You know what I mean? So definitely. It's like, I don't want to continue going, but I'm also going to find my own struggles on how I impact people. Jonah hit me up and was saying, hey, man, I thought you was an ally. He was being funny, though, because, you know, we had, me and Zoe was talking a little spicy about, like, the protests and everything earlier, and me telling them that, like, I think that, like, all the cultures that have been in support of the Orange Man have been, you know, partially to blame with that. And, like, I just want to sit back and watch things happen because it has to get worse before it gets better, which has been my approach. But he and I were talking. I was like, bro, like, I'll probably come on to your pod in, like, 3 years and, like, talk about the importance of voting or something, right? Like, there's a voice that I have. And the things that we do in terms of, like, bringing voter information here and explaining things to people, because I've learned that, like, most people don't know that information. I spend my days going into court. I'm in the middle of suing somebody. And I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, you know how hard it would be to, like, explain to somebody, like, how this language is written, but I read court language all the time. So, like, the shit makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like being that broker. So
yes. You know what? Exactly. And I feel like that's part of, like, our purpose. And I feel that for myself when I'm navigating through different systems and I'm, you know, going through different adversity, I always think that, like, I know how to read the language, or I have a more understanding, or I'm like, and so I can only imagine other people that are going through this, like, blind, essentially, you know, with no sense of, like, understanding how to navigate certain systems. Like, I think about that, and I think that's why, like you, like, I feel, you know, inclined to often share this information, because it's like, we know there's other people out there that need to know this stuff because we needed to know it. Right. And whether it was easy or hard for us, we want to be able to be that bridge to information. And I think you will definitely have to find some kind of outlet, because that's a big, that's a big part of your purpose. And I think also, like, your outlet, you know?
Right. And so, I can't be a TikToker. That's just never.
You need to be a TikToker. People have been pushing me to TikTok. So then we could both blow up on TikTok, and then we could start potting again.
Oh, no, man. I today's social media and the youth, we'll talk about that, because some of these young dudes, shout out to my boy Jamar. He had his First Chance University camp again.
Helix, the football?
Yeah, he had that, and so everybody was in town. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the top of the episode, but yeah, and so he brought the young kids out, but, like, some of the stuff that they was bringing up when we went to dinner last night. I went Friday. Yeah. I took my stepson so that he can meet some pro athletes. Weekend. Yeah, it was this weekend. Changed the campus up completely, but they was up there. I took my stepson there. He has an interest in playing football too, so I wanted him to see it, like, with the high school kids. And then, you know, he brings out some pros that are currently playing right now, and they get to talk. Some of the shit was over his head, but it motivated him to, like, he started moving like them on the field and stuff. Not, like, so much verbal stuff, but I could see, and that was some of the shit that I did when I was young. So
yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid thing for him to go to. So
I love that Jamar is giving back to Helix and the community like that. I know, like, when I was at Helix, Reggie Bush, he funded a lot of, like, the College for Me. He funded a lot of programs that I was a part of at Helix that were, like, intended for girls of color and girls that, like, came from adverse backgrounds. Yeah. So I love that, Jamar is kind of carrying that torch and giving
Reggie
back.
still does it too. Just
Yeah.
he does a camp at least. I don't know what else he does,
Yeah.
but Reggie still does his own camp
In his own capacity, yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen, like, we've been out with, like, Reggie a few times, maybe, you know, this was before COVID, but I had seen him still being active. He's been out of the league for a while, but, and then you also have, you know, guys from, I keep forgetting my man's name. He went to Eastlake, but we would see him all the time, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the top of it, man. Listen, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to leave it right there. We cool with Big because he gone, and we can't prove anything that happened, at least at this point. But your man's, and they came out with new shit for him.
Oh.
Like they came out with more photos. My man had a leather suitcase, or like one of, not a leather suitcase. It's like one of those, I don't know how to explain it. Like
what?
Like
I'm gonna be honest. I've completely tapped out of it.
Well, only reason.
So you can be my filler inner.
The only reason why I know about this is because I look.
It's
not. It's almost like what's that game that they play on basic cable, and they pull out the suitcase or whatever for you to pick a number or an amount or whatever.
Oh, make a deal?
Yes. He had like a let's make a deal suitcase full of loot. And all other stuff. I'm serious, man. Like your boy.
Why did he have so much?
It was Astral Glide. Why do I even know that? You know what I mean? I had no idea about. And then he had extra bottles of baby oil, as if like what he had before just wasn't enough, man. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the trial. I just know that the way that they killing him right now in public is that if they do get him, if they do find a way to let him off, which I don't think the feds are. Yeah. I don't think he can ever come back in the court of public opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's so bad right now that, yeah. But yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal. That's Karl. To my front, I have the one, the woman, the myth, the legend, Miss Juicy J. I ain't got no sound bites right now. I didn't even sign on before then. You could just tell his last days. And my man Lex voice, right? real shit.
You can just tell it's last day.
Yeah, you can just
We're
tell.
in the apocalypse.
Yeah,
We're just hanging on.
All kind of shit. I got that on there too. So
it's raw. It's real.
We're gonna find a way to fuck everything up. This is the realest,
the rawest you're gonna get from us.
So, but Jay, how you been?
About today?
How you been? I got a bunch. So besides our pre-conversation, right?
Yes, sir.
Overall, how have you been?
Yeah. You know what? I've been good. I've been maintaining, hanging in there. It's been a struggle. Obviously, it's been rough. It's had its ups and downs. But the last week was pretty healing and miraculous. Like in the midst of uncertainty and hardship. Like I reconnected with two of my bestest friends from completely separate, not the same friend group or anything, different periods of my life that I had, had fallen out with. The one I had, they both weren't one of them I had already reconnected with, but it's hard, kind of what I was saying, I think a week or two ago, the more time that goes, the kind of harder it is to reacclimate. So even though me and my middle school best friend, we had reconnected almost over a year ago now, we still haven't been able to get back into, being in a part of each other's lives, or even conversing regularly, or after so much time goes on, it's you kind of fall out of rhythm, I guess. And then my other best friend, we were cordial, but I always, I knew we both know what had happened, and I could feel the underlying tension always there. And I had offered a few times to have a conversation. It just wasn't. God bless you. You're welcome. It just wasn't the time or the space. Because like you said, also sometimes you need space and things need to breathe. So it's it's this, double-edged sword essentially. But finally, I'd reached out, since I'm getting ready for this move, it's really put into perspective to me, the important people in my life and the relationships that I've had with certain people, and no matter the distance, the connection I want to keep, and I feel in this point in my life, I've been a terrible friend at times, and I've been a great friend at times, but I've also, now I feel like I've learned better what it really takes to maintain some kind of connection and friendship, whether it's through distance, motherhood, mental health, and so it's really important to me that I start establishing those patterns and those behaviors and strengthening those connections now before I move.
Right.
So that way when I'm gone, we have a good foundation, because time, like we were talking about earlier, it's fleeting, and life really is about your people, so they're the ones that get you through during the good times, the hard times, and the bad times. So back to reconnecting with my best friend, I hit her up and was like, I'm moving soon. I would love to be able to, come see you, spend time with you. And so we were able to do that. And
this is a curly head friend? Okay. I wasn't going to say it out here. I know you're talking about.
I don't know who our listeners are, but I feel like we got a few that might.
Yeah. That's why I stuck with that one. Now, like that one, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
You're right. I can't pull nothing past you, Karl.
It could be, yeah. Well, no, because in my mind, it could be.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be several people.
But
then I also remember past conversations, which is why I was like, all right, it may be this one.
Yeah.
Shot in the dark. So
you nailed it. And so, we were able to have like a really vulnerable, very like heart-to-heart, transparent conversation. And, she was able to really tell me how she felt and keep it real. And I think in being able to share her anger and frustration with me, she was able to let go of a lot of resentment for me. And I think like in hearing and just giving her the space to hear what she had to say, and then her giving me the space to say what I had to say, and us both, hindsight is 2020. It was just so like it was like heartbreaking and heart opening for us, and we at the end of it we realized like through all the mud like how much like just like pure love was like still there, and how much like history, I don't think that relationships should only be built on history, but there is something to be said about being able to maintain healthy relationships through and with somebody that you have history with. For someone who can see you through all those transformations and have gone through different stages of life, like it's really special. And we realized we have shared so much life together, and just in a few amount of years we've missed a lot of each other's lives. Like there's been huge milestones, losses, gains, that we missed, and we were like, wow, like we don't know what looking forward looks like, but we just know like we want to forward, and like you are my soul sister. Like I love you. There is something here that is not like, I'm not going to get emotional. It was a good conversation, but there's something here that isn't just with anybody. And it's not even just because of the time and the history. It's just that natural feeling you have like with someone who's your person,
Right.
And so to have that experience with her, and then to have been able to spend some more time with my middle school best friend, and us connect more and have more casual time, and get it was just such a beautiful week for me to be able to know that I'm leaving with these relationships restored, essentially.
Right.
So, and then we had a miracle when it came to finding some stable housing until we actually make our move. So that in the midnight hour, when we weren't quite sure where we were going to go after a rough experience and taking a few L's, we had an earth angel, a mentor from one of Jaylee's mentorship programs, come in and call me up and was like, I've been working on this, and she was trying to get everything squared away. And you never know sometimes who's working for you behind the scenes. You just never know sometimes who's praying for you, who's fighting for you, who's advocating for you, who's, making motions, like, and so, she was making motions for us, and we end up, she ended up hitting kind of a point where she was at a standstill, and she was like, this is what we want to do for you, but we're kind of stuck. And so we were able to brainstorm together, and, she was able to find someone that she knew that had a place, and they made it available for us until we, leave the beginning of August. So that was just like a huge turnaround of events. And I always say, like, one day can change your life. We were sleeping at a 2-star motel the last few weeks, like, and the view was crackheads. And this morning we woke up and our view was the San Diego airport, like literally planes coming in, and behind the airports coming in is the beautiful, like, harbor and the skyscrapers. And it's just wild, you know what I mean? Like, right. It's just crazy. And so, for me, this week has been a lot about, like, miracles and faith and, the strength to be vulnerable, but also, like, take faithful movements, You can't just be, like, praying and then, like, not making any moves. Right. Just sitting there like, I hope, but it requires some level of action built in with faith. And so I'm just feeling very positive, very hopeful, very excited, also sad. The realization that I'm moving is hitting more and more. And so I'm trying to be as present as possible. And also find time, so cute, find time to enjoy. I mean, let's be real. San Diego is the most beautiful city, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Like, the weather, the different things you can do. So, trying to find moments in between everything, all the chaos, to enjoy the city, enjoy my peoples, enjoy the food before we get up on out of here.
Yeah, like you, So this last past week, my boys came into town for, like I said, for Jamar's camp. So usually now we getting to the point kind of like where you talk about where life happens. Are any of
your boys single? I'm single. How come you didn't tell me boys were coming in town? All your boys are married now.
Yeah, they're all shit for it. And when I looked at the table yesterday, I was like, shit, this is 4 out of 6 of us, 4 out of 7. And then the other 2 I hadn't seen in years. Like,
you got professional ball players. You ain't shit, Karl.
But yeah,
you didn't invite me out to get a drink.
You know who he is. No, but I didn't know that we were going out to eat until maybe about Thursday or Friday, and who was coming until about literally maybe 5 hours before we left. Yes, dudes. Like they
Come on, man. Let me slide in there.
But here's the thing so let's get to that. Let's address that, because I saw plenty of people we went to Helix with last night.
That's what I'm saying. Where was I? Why I'm not cool?
So wait a minute. When I tell this story, you gonna understand where my mind was.
Because I was like, it was a Helix reunion. I'm like, without me?
Well, Juneteenth happened Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. So in my mind, I was like, oh, Ali Tay is doing the Juneteenth event.
Yes.
And I was like, they're gonna do it on Thursday. I ain't seen no flyers. I haven't seen the flyers like
they did. Everything was Saturday.
I didn't know it was Saturday.
Yeah.
So we go out to eat. Doug chooses a spot that's downtown called AKA. Most mid food I've had, right? I ain't gonna lie, right? I'm sorry for those people or whatever, but spending $25 for an old fashioned, we paying the building fund. I found
AKA.
Yeah, it's called AKA.
What's the theme?
It's like Asian style, so they got like Wagyu steak and all this other shit. The shit's high price, right? $25 for an old fashioned is crazy.
That's nuts.
At the bar I was at today, I can get 3 drinks at that price, right? When I finish playing golf, at least. But this is a nice little. I told you, Bonita right here is solid, and the food is fire.
I need to go over there.
So anyway, we get there, and I'm like, I tell my wife, right, and the running joke right now is like, oh, your wife don't let you do nothing. What they don't know is that I be the one, and I've been like this even before then. They just be again making jokes, but I'd be like, nah, I don't feel like being here.
Yeah.
My whole 20s, I'd even say maybe from 16, from when I was driving until about 28, I watched my maturation in terms of like going out change.
Yeah.
That's 12 years on the grind, right? So like, we would do parties, like college parties, playing beer pong, shot pong if we really wanted to get crazy, right?
Yeah.
To going into clubs, waiting in line, paying fees to get in, to having money to
Did
be
you
like.
party in high school?
Yes.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
we got a long resume.
A long history. So that's my point. I was like, yo, so
I get it, dog.
I mean, I beat, right? And then we went to standing on top of couches and like being able to have enough money to pay for, all that stuff. And then doing it in different cities, doing it with different athletes and stuff that were popular at that time. So I'm beat. Right at 36, I'm beat. Right, 35, about to be 36.
You got 2 kids now and a wife,
and that I gotta be up for and do shit. But again, it's like, but they remind me. They're like, hey man, don't get caught in coach mode and like
That's
podcast
true.
mode. Come and do shit. So like, my friends serving that capacity. I say all that to say,
yeah,
it was judgment time when we got done eating.
On you? You were in the hot seat?
No, just me in general. Like they not gonna give a fuck if I don't go or not, right?
Okay.
I did end up leaving where the fuck we was at because I was like, yo, this ain't.
That's what you were telling me.
But we get done eating, and they like, yo, let's go down to.
It was just guys.
It was just guys.
Okay.
It was 6 of us. That's even tougher, right?
And is it?
No, it's 8 of us.
Is it the guys I'm thinking? The normal? It's Doug's. It's
Doug, CP, Theron, and Jamar, and then Torian, which is Jamar's brother, and then you don't know Steve, and you don't know Torian. So I rode in the Uber with Torian. Because Jamar's like, hey, you pick him up? Because they live down the street. His mom.
Remember the Instagrammers?
Jamar's mom lived down the hill.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 2 blocks down. Like I went and picked up her keys and stuff and did a house walkthrough for him when they got the house.
Yeah.
But like, so I tell, I in my mind, I'm like, yo, I took an Uber down here. I'm 4 drinks in. Like I'm really using my Uber right now.
Heck,
if I look back on this $60 there and back, I'm like, all right, I made it worth it.
It's gotta be.
Right. So I was like, they was like, hey man, Ali Tay is DJing at Vibes. And I was like, all right, well, that's the move. Let's make the walk. So we get there.
Okay.
Now I love Dago.
See, I was gonna be out this weekend, but it wasn't in the cards for me. I had to be indoors all this week and weekend.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
See, and that's where
I missed out. It was popping in the streets this weekend.
But here's where it didn't hit me though. Because this is a random. I don't even know if you know this name that I'm about to bring up, but this is my guy. He's also supported the pod in the past and everything.
Okay.
So Lewis Lake is walking by like on the street, right? Lewis was in my year, but I don't think he graduated with us though. He was there maybe like freshman, sophomore, and junior year. Lewis Lake, he's like, oh my guys, right? I'm like, it's a random ass Saturday. What the fuck is he here right now? Then I'm seeing a lot more people that like Dorian. I'm like, yo, like I was like,
Swag?
yeah, I was like, why are these people here right now?
Man, why wasn't I outside this weekend?
And I'm sitting here thinking, and then like there was a line at the door, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, the Juneteenth was like today, the celebration, so everybody done got dressed and everything, and they here now.
Exactly.
Now my anxiety kicking in. I was like, damn. I start seeing dudes with like, the designs in their hair and stuff, and all. I said, oh, we in here with some real Southeast dudes right now, right? And I'm like, I don't know if I got the capacity for this right now. Did you feel
like it was about to be getting hot up in there?
I just knew that I just know that like this is more of a
there's a lot of people.
There's gonna be dudes in here that's not here to dance or like really conversate. They just in here to like look fly.
On Juneteenth, everyone's just there to have a good time and enjoy black people.
But then some of the dudes, you don't know, right, what type of time they be on.
You sound so old.
But we get in there. No, I wasn't the only one.
Everyone was trying to fill in?
Because we was all looking at each other like, you want to go in there? Huh? I was like, nah. And then talking about buying a table. I was like, bro, I just want to do a lap. Like, I just want to see. Like, so then, I see.
I love a lap.
Kiana, Cha-Cha, and all them are in there. And then I run into one of the twins from my year was in there or whatever, and I'm getting bumped and dudes pushing me and shit, and I'm taking the bump. I'm so glad
I wasn't outside.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm so glad I wasn't outside.
It's been a long time since I had somebody say, excuse me, niggas, and then move me out the way. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I've been there. Then Lewis was like, hey, you want a drink? Yeah, I'll take one more for the road. And then they buying more shots. I said, oh, I know what y'all doing. Y'all, this is the pregame spot. I said at 11, it was like 11:45. I told my wife, I was like, yo, I'm about to be home soon. And I came home. I woke up this morning. I got up a little late, and I was beat, tired, and I was like, damn. And I got a text.
What time did the guys get home?
Shit, I got a text from Torian like around 2, like, you making home safe? I said, bro, I left 3 hours ago. You just now checking on me? That mean that y'all still outside right now. Not doing nothing like nothing just crazy or nothing, but just hanging out. And I was like, yo, there's no me waking up.
You left at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
For me.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I missed nothing.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm starting to get to, like, for a while now, I've learned that sweet spot, like, where it's like right before it's about to really ramp up, it's like, nah, I've had my drinks, I've made my Uber worth it.
We had conversations.
I've had conversation. People have seen me looking good. I've done enough. I feel like I've had enough adult me time. Like, I'm going home before shit gets really wild, or people get really drunk, or fights start happening.
Just
or
the whole downtown. I watched Downtown shift because I got there at 8.
You did? Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah, you're not old. You feel the shift.
Yeah, when this shift, and then started being young kids out there getting drunk, people
and
getting wild
everybody's
and shit.
yes.
And I was like, fam, I don't even think about this part of the city on my normal day to day, right? Like, I ain't been here in years.
Yeah.
And I was like, back then I used to go out to acquire women.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Right? And so it's like, how can I acquire somebody new to talk to, or whatever the case, enjoy my friends too? But we was just trying to, acquire women at some point. All the guys I would hang out with, not even just these guys.
Yeah.
But like every dude, like we. But if that's no longer the mission for me, that's what I'm saying. Like to your point, and to answer to that, like I think that what you were talking about is that as life happens, we change, and I realize how blessed I am to be able to be in a scenario where me and my friends are now at a place where we're all successful.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? Like, even like the conversations of like the people we ran into and all those other things, I'm looking back and I'm like, damn, they said something in the chat. One of the guys we used to run with at, I'll tell you off mic.
Yeah.
But, getting popped for meth and, robbing Targets and shit. We got people that's getting arrested for sexual assault and all that other shit.
Oh, Lord.
We've had people pass from overdoses and accidents and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, like this is the hustle and bustle of life, where it's like, yo, when do I have time to catch up with my people? And I realize how far I've come based on these conversations that we're having about certain individuals. And Jamar said like something that I thought was like funny, because he was like, yo, like Lincoln, my home school. Like, imagine if I went to Lincoln during that time.
Wow.
Right? Morris, my home school. Imagine if I went to Morris down that time, like the time
Felix wasn't. Yeah, mine was Mount Miguel.
See?
My mom put me in the lottery system because she didn't want me to go to Mount Miguel or Monte Vista.
And it's like small choices and like little corners that like you pivot to in life that changed everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just thankful, you know what I mean, to be able to say, just like you, like 20 years later, like I'm still friends with these people. Like, even, Chris was asking me, like, wait, you been friends with Uncle Doug for 20 years? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, man, it's a long time, right? So it's like, where's Doug at? Because they play video games sometimes together, right? So it's like, it's just real crazy. Which leads me into what I had in regards to, oh, shit, I forgot all about that. Here we go. Random shit to fill in time. At this age, what do you think makes a good friend?
That's a great question. Do you want to go first? Have you thought about it at all?
Yeah, availability at this point in time is not a big deal for me.
Yeah, that doesn't make a great friend.
Yeah, but at a young age, to me, it'd be like, oh, they was there for me when I was blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yo, like your availability to me isn't the biggest thing. Like, if I shoot you a message, right, your instant availability doesn't mean something to me. But if you can get back to me, and we can connect for whatever reason, like when you was talking about you and your friend, I was thinking like, what a joy it is to be able to find time, given everyone's individual things that they got going on, to be able to have that conversation. And
it was like we had to really commit to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took because it is hard to find the time, especially like you were saying, having uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
They don't just happen. You have to make them happen. You have to be intentional, or else everyone will avoid them. Something will keep coming up forever.
Absolutely. So, and that was also, that was one of my things, was like that availability or making time. But then the second thing to that for me was just listen.
Yeah.
I don't need advice, right?
Yeah.
more so than anything, like when you was talking earlier, like I wasn't really trying to give you advice more so than it was like looking at your situation from another perspective, right? Like I've had friends and some of my other ones, and I know they got some other individual things going on, but like the conversation be about them. Like whenever I pull something to relate or something like that, it's really focused on them, and there isn't a question of how we are doing. It was like an overpour of like what they were doing, and I know that they've got something going on personality wise that lends to that, so we've always lended grace to that, right? We've always acknowledged it. I try, like I said, normalize your friends that got mental health issues, right? There's nothing wrong with it because it's not really an issue. That's just them. But I try to have those involved conversations and try to give a different perspective, not because I'm challenging anything, but just another way of looking at something. But also not in hopes of trying to solve somebody's problems, right? It's just something for you to consider. You can do whatever with it as you may, and that has been the take. So like when I talk to my boy D, he'll, unload some shit on me, which he's had a lot of shit going on in regards to like just, accidents and life stuff happening or whatever. And then, his retort has been kind of crazy. So I'd be like, hey, maybe you look at it from this perspective, but he gonna do whatever he wants. Then I just come in and get a check-in. So I try to like make that time. So there will be days where we don't talk and stuff like that. But also realizing like just knowing people, like we at an age where people are losing people, whether it be for like health reasons or whatever the case may be, or somebody moves or whatever, or shit, you can lose somebody just to life, right? And so it's like I just try to make sure that I check in with people, man, to see how they doing and try to make my conversations worth it. One of our listeners hit me up and was like, hey, man, I heard you on the mic saying that you be having like 30 to 40 messages and you be getting back to me like with thorough shit whenever you do. Oh. And I was like, yo, like part of that is like, yo, man, I try to make time like to he's like, you better than me, right? He's like, I just read the shit and keep going. He's like, because that number's insane. But I was like, yeah, that's not like, and it's not even a popularity thing. I think it's because I put myself out there that people respond in that fashion, and I want people to know that I still recognize.
I value that.
Yeah. So
then it would be
availability and ability to listen.
Okay,
that's it, and that's all my problem.
That's what makes a good friend for you.
Yeah, right now, yeah, because I mean, most people can't do that.
Well, it's funny. I would say mine are similar. I think like, definitely like showing up. So not every time, but and it doesn't have to be always like physical, but for those like showing up, whether it's in those moments that are harder or more joyous, but just like letting your presence be known. Like I see you, I hear you, I'm checking in on you, I want to experience this joyous with you, or I'm here to be a supportive person while you go through this hardship. Like to me, like showing up and not just like saying I'm there for you. You know what I mean? That to me is huge. I think also like you said, just making space to let me be me. Whether that's like I don't need exactly advice or this or that. I just want to be able to let my mask down and just be who I am and not feel judged for it.
Right.
So like those, like to me, my closest friends, they see the most authentic side of me because they see all the sides of me, because I feel safe enough to be silly, goofy, angry, emotional, dramatic, silly, nasty, sexy. Like, I feel the ability to really be able to express all the different parts of me and not feel like they're going to be keeping some kind of secret score or secret judgmental log, so I think those ones. And then for me, the third one I think in my life now would be like really like also like loving my children, and like I think like at this point in my life, anyone who's going to be my friend, like, and be a part of my life and someone I confide in, like, they would have to, like, have some kind of, like, even the other day when we were talking on the phone, you were like, hey, Jaylee, like, you acknowledged my daughter. You said hello, like, asked how she was doing. Like, anyone, like, I couldn't, my children are such a part of my life that anybody in my web, in my realm would have to at least, like, you know, share some, like, hey, how's your kids doing? Like,
Right,
you
right.
know? So, yeah, those are the ones I think for sure, like, but not much more than that, you know, like showing up through the thick and the thin. So, you know, I guess that's a sense of like loyalty, you know, and trust. To me, those are important things. And then holding judgment-free space where I can just be me and you're not going to hold it against me.
Right.
You know, you're not going to pity me. You're not going to talk shit about me to your other friends. You're not going to see me less than. You're not, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to think I'm a slut.
That's the thing, you know, like growing up, that's been so like me and Theron were talking about you yesterday, right? And he was asking me about the pod and everything. And he was like, you know, he was talking, he was like, yo, like, you know, you done? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm here 9 years in the game. He's like, yeah, I remember when you started. And then he was asking like how you was doing and all that other stuff, and some of the stuff that I already know that you know have out there. I shared those things that you've already, you know, expressed.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, he was always like, you know, she's always been a solid individual.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He was like, so like with that being said, it's like I'm not at a place in my life where like I would waste my time. I wouldn't waste my time speaking ill of somebody to someone else, right? I wouldn't, because like I could be doing something way more constructive now.
But a lot of people do.
And that's where I was getting at about last night.
Like
where
who?
I was like, yo, these is the group of people where I was like, yo, like I'm around people right now that, not the specific people that I named earlier, just like the group that I was around, I was like I'm on a different tier.
Yeah.
Not even just like in the financial sense,
No,
just
no,
the way
no,
that
no.
I think and everything, and like
Yeah.
the way I see things.
The mentality.
Yeah, even the way I dress, like how I used to get dressed, I got dressed like that, you know, previously to, you know, certain events and stuff like that. But I don't even be in those spaces anymore,
Yeah.
right? So like, and they left, you know what I mean? Like they went there, and I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but this is where I be telling people, like as a black man growing up, right, with certain, this is some of the things we were talking about a little bit off mic, because young me had like this thought process of like how the world was supposed to be and how I was supposed to act. Tupac, 50 Cent, like the game, like this music is like, you know, how black men are supposed to be. And then luckily I was fortunate that my mom and dad put me around, you know, individuals that were on the other side of that. That's probably where my thinking is now.
Yeah.
Looking at me back then, like, yo, we can grab this young brother, you know, ahead of time and fix those things. And so like now I've wanted to model my behavior based off of those people that have been inspirational to me. And the beautiful thing about it is that I keep the friends that I have right now around me because they are in that same headspace.
Exactly.
Right? Whether it's like giving back to the community, being the best that you can be. Like Jamar was giving a speech and he was like, look, man, I don't play football no more. He's like, I was a dog though. He was like, but I'm a realtor now. You know what I mean? I do the motivational stuff for the kids and everything. And to me, I'm the best at this job.
I love seeing his real estate content.
You know,
he's such a natural.
Yeah.
He was made for it.
That wasn't his thing though earlier on, right? He had to morph into that, like take that on the field attitude and apply it to like those things, because he don't like talking to people.
Really?
He'll fuck with people like community based wise, like, yo, like we share the space or whatever. But if you somebody random, he not the nicest person in the world.
No,
he's not very approachable, and he'll tell you, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like so he only fuck with Southeast heavy. Like every time you see him, he got a Dago hat on, whether he live in AZ.
Yeah, he's not a chatty fella.
Yeah, unless you know him, right?
Yeah, he's always respectful, says hello, you know. But yeah, exactly. I don't blame him. Shit, the fuck out my face.
And like I look back on some of the people that like you hung out with, and I see like them on like social media because we share some of the same people, or whatever, and they are on they same thing with they group.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? And even despite you having any hardships or whatever the case may be or whatever, you still that person though. Like of being a more positive influence. Even some of the things that we had talked about off mic today show depth, insight into your character. Whereas like And that's why we brought you to this podcast originally, was because, like, I don't care what you got going on, right? If you can hold a conversation with some simple logic or attached logic, you can agree with me, you could disagree with me or whatever. We can work that shit out on the mic, right? And it took us some time to get there, but that was just like being a personality on here. So it's like, I want to be around individuals that are going to help me grow.
Exactly.
They don't have to be successful. They could be somebody who's not successful and also can remind me that any given day that can happen to anybody. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yo, and so I have a newfound respect, you know, for anybody that is able to recognize where they are at in their environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, it's, you know, there's a reason why they say birds of a feather flock together. There's a reason why they say you are an average of the, you know, that your income is based off of the average of the 5 people around you. Like, there's statistics out there because the people you spend your time with, especially have conversation with, they do impact the way you may see the world, or maybe even the ambitions that you have, or the accountability. I think, you know, when we're talking about what we need in a friend, I really need that, actually. I need a friend who's willing to hold me accountable and also knows how to hold themselves accountable. I think in even some of my great friendships, like, sometimes, you know, there's those fear of causing, you know, any kind of weirdness or awkwardness or any kind of tension. But it's like, you need friends in your life that are not... that aren't going to hold back, because they know that the information they have for you is valuable. So even when we were talking earlier, you know, and like you said, you're not telling me these things because you're like, you have to do this, but you're suggesting another perspective, you're suggesting another lens. Like, you need people in your life that are willing to say, well, have you thought about this? Or, you know, what about maybe this? Or... because not everybody, even some of your friends, not everybody's willing to have those kind of conversations with you. No. You know? And I really value that. I even told my friend that, you know, curly hair, that I made up with the other day, because she was telling me something, and she was like, you know, I got to tell you, Jay, you know, she was like, if someone doesn't say what you want to hear, you think they're an asshole. Right. Or something like that. And I was like, fair. But I was like, you know, one of the things I appreciate the most about you is that you're not afraid to tell me things that maybe I don't want to hear, you know, and not everybody in my life is willing to, you know, say whatever it is they feel maybe I need to hear, you know, whether it's they're worried about my reaction, or I've heard I'm intimidating. How? Who
isn't, though?
You know, and so I think it's really important to have people in your life that are, like, willing to, you know, tell you what you need to hear, even if it's uncomfortable, or even if they don't know what your reaction might be.
That's the thing. Some people don't have the capacity, though, of delivering that message, because there's a real skill in how you do it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's hard. Like.
Oh, it's masterful.
You got to stay away from words like you.
Oh, exactly.
You got to stay away from words like need. I don't need to do shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are you telling me, like, I need to do blah, blah, blah.
Especially when you're talking to people about their kids.
Yeah. You're not about to tell me what I need to do at all, right?
I'd be super careful.
Your tone, right? Yeah. Sarcasm, like, you got to take stuff up. You got to really just be monotone and, like, just throw it in there like a jab. Yeah. And it took me a while to realize that. You know what I mean? But also, I deal with very difficult people, you know, all the time. So it's like, I got to find ways, you know. Shit, you also got to apologize if you even remotely offend. I've offended somebody on Tuesday, right? Work-wise. I can't say what it was about. But, like, I was getting in. They were like, and you said blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen. And when they gave me the floor, I said, I only said this to say that. If you interpreted this from what I was saying, then I apologize for that, because that's not where my direction was going.
Yeah, it's not what I meant at all.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they were still perturbed, but we was able to continue talking about what we was talking about moving forward. You know what I mean? So
you got to be solution based. That's where I'm at. I'm very much like, what can we do to move us forward, or if we're not moving forward, let's dead it. And neither one of us need to put too much more energy. Right. But I'm very like, if someone says that they're offended by something I said, I normally don't really try to save face or get defensive, because I'm like, oh, I rather focus on what did you hear? Like, where's the disconnect? That's what I'm trying to get to. Oh, you took that from what I said? Oh, and that's how it made you feel? And shit, my bad.
Right.
Like, damn, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was trying to get. And so I'm genuinely sorry. Like, that's not, even though that wasn't my intention, fuck my intention. It still caused some kind of discourse, and now you're feeling this type of way. And to be quite honest, that's not helpful to me, because I need you to feel this type of way so you can get what I want you to get done.
Right. Yeah, and that's the real thing.
That's the true thing about, I learned that actually from this great podcaster about the true gift of like leadership, is that, and it's a fine line between leadership and then like manipulation, because you don't want to try to manipulate people into doing what you want them to do. That's not what this is about. But what it's about is meeting people where they're at, and, you know, giving them the tools, the supports, the understanding, whatever it is they need in order for them to be able to perform the way you need them to perform. And not in a way where it's like selfish and beneficial to you, but where it's beneficial to them and the overall mission, right? So I'm less concerned about the tit for tat. I'm less concerned about being offended or being defensive because you were offended. And I'm more concerned about getting you in whatever mental, physical capacity, emotional capacity that you need me to get you to. So that way you're ready to receive whatever coaching I need to give you, training. And then you're ready and you can perform it. Like,
even what you're saying though, that applies. So like, you're right? Like, not it's almost like herding sheep, right? Like, basically, like, I'm trying to get us to a destination so that it works out for both of us. But then I look at it on the other end. Sometimes you got to get out the way.
Yeah.
Like, I in my 30s, I'm learning to get out the way.
Like, not my monkeys, not my circus out the way, or
no,
I've given you enough, now I need to let you run with it.
No, like, you know what an assist is in basketball? Like, where I throw you a pass and then you shoot.
Yeah.
So then I get an assist for that. Like, yo, I benefit from you benefiting.
Exactly.
So let me get out my own way.
That's this whole mentality.
I don't need to score right now. Like, here, you score.
Exactly.
So, like, I think, like once I learn how to get out that way, and, like, obviously in that capacity too, you're elevating someone.
Yes.
And allowing them an opportunity to elevate too.
That's what it means to be a leader. People think that, you know what? Sorry, I'm about to go here real quick. People sometimes, and let me soften my tone, because I know when I get too passionate, sometimes I sound more harsh than I mean to. Sometimes when we're in positions of leadership, or we're leaders, or when we're in the zone that we want to be in a position of leadership, we stop losing the focus of what leadership is truly about, which is what Karl just said. It's about elevating others around you. It's about strengthening their tools, their already what they have inside of them in order for them to grow. What we sometimes lose along the way is that we start to think that leadership is about power. It's about control. It's about being able to be the decision maker or get all of the credit, or we start to shift and forget that the true actual meaning and intention of someone to be in a leadership position is to elevate all of those around them, not use all of those around them to elevate themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like that gets lost a lot in every coaching and work and, you know, politics across the board. It's like, damn, don't you guys remember why you're here? Like,
yeah.
You know, you're not here to be the star. You're here to make everyone else stars around you.
And that's where I feel like what you're saying right now goes into the conversation of what makes a good friend.
Yeah.
It's literally that, like, we're all supposed to be stars.
Yes, exactly.
We're all supposed to add value to each other or someone else in some capacity. And
yes.
so, like, and I feel like if my friendship with you doesn't do that, like,
yes.
and it has nothing to do with, like I said, I've known people to be assholes with money. It's not a money thing. I've known people with status to be assholes. I was playing with some dudes that make money today. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's not that like they were assholes or nothing like that, but it's like outside of this capacity of what we doing right now, like we won't have nothing else in common where I feel like I would benefit from this relationship other than what we're doing specifically right now.
Exactly.
But for my psyche and to recharge my battery, I have my people that I need to go to. So my last point on that too, and I'll let you get your shit off on the end too, is that a lot of the things that I think I lost my point. It was a solid one too because I had just remembered it again.
It sounded like it too.
What it had to do with more so than anything, I can't remember it now. I lost it looking at these.
Well, but what I will circle back to, and maybe it will come to you, is how you were just saying, like, that is so key. Like, in my friendships, if we are not elevating each other, if you're not bringing out the best of me, that's what I mean by, like, that accountability. Like, if you're not challenging me, if you're not uplifting me, like, supporting me, like...
Oh, I remember now.
Please.
So much of my... right when you said that, because I realized... Like,
I was trying to get you there.
It depends on who it is. Right? So part of my... Like, so much of my day is filled around people that I don't have a lot of experiences with. Those experiences are specific. Right? Like, I coach baseball. I'm around certain coaches, right? So, like, I have to draw off of other experiences. I go to work or whatever. I'm around other people that, like, have the same degrees like me or not, right? Or the people that I work with or whatever.
Yeah. And
that behavior is specific. But being around people that are willing to elevate me, we share like qualities together. And so I loved, you had brought it up earlier. That's why I'm mad that I didn't remember it earlier, is that I want to be me at some point, or a version of me that I remember that I enjoyed the most. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was a part of me, just like when you went back and searched that, you know, to seek out that friendship or whatever, there was a part of me that I liked.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a part of me of, like, how I speak, how I talk, and like being around somebody who just know me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, I just want to, for lack of a better term for both of us, I want to let my hair down. No, no pun intended, but I'm just saying, I just want to let my hair down. Your shit still look fire, right? I'm just saying. But like that was a term where I just want to relax, though. You know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like, but still, like, you just, like, I want to be able to say some shit, and you're not gonna weaponize it, put me on cam or whatever the fuck it is, upload it. You know, you like, I can just be me.
I can just be me.
Not you talking and then I'm just like, it's like the Tide commercial stain is one. Like, I'm really locked in because like how you about to respond to some shit is how I would. Because my boy was talking and I was like, when I got what he was saying, I was like, nah, fuck that. He's like, that's what I'm saying.
That's literally,
like, I need that moment.
That's literally what my
away from my own shit. You know what I mean? So
she was like, I forgot how much I can just listen to you get your shit off.
Yeah.
She was like, I forgot how easy it was to just sit here and just you talk and I listen and I talk and you listen.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean by, like, there's that. It's just something, you know, it's different. It's not with everybody. You're right. It's not with everybody.
Right.
That kind of safety, that kind of, you know, vulnerability, that kind of, like, you just being able to be you and it not being weaponized. Like, I know that whatever I say up in here, like, the shit me and you talk about, when it's not rolling, like, it ain't never gonna get out, or you're not gonna hold it in the back of your mind and later be like, well, Jay said that one time. That means, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because so much of us is a front.
So much. It's
like baseball me ain't me, really. That was an old me. I'm just doing this for my kids, right? Golf me, that ain't really me. I ain't grew up in the culture, but I enjoy the game, right? Parent me being like at somebody's birthday party, that ain't really me. I'm just putting on the front, oh, your kids like to do this and all that. But really, it's like, I don't really give a fuck about your kids. Like, my real friends' kids, I give a fuck about them and all that. Because, like, if something happened to y'all, I'd be like, if my wife told me, I'm like, yo, that shit sucks. I don't know what else you want me to do, though. You know what I mean? Like,
but if something happened to them, I'm showing up at the door.
Yeah, because it's a capacity, right? I only got a capacity for the people I've been fucking with that I got history with. And that sounds jacked up or whatever, but I ain't got time for new people.
Yeah, I don't know if I do either. Maybe that's why I'm like, I got to get right with my old folk. Like,
yeah, but that's probably just getting old, but familiarity, because we also in the time period that I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like some of these things that these kids are going through, whatever, I try to, you know, be a balance. That's probably the problem with being a millennial, right? But like, I'm trying to be at a point right now, man, where I'm trying to like understand what they going through, but that ain't what I'm used to. So,
but we have to.
Exactly.
We gotta stay current, especially because we got these kids.
You ain't never lied about that.
They ain't shit. We need to know what's happening.
Even the slang they be using.
The Italian brain rot. Are you on that? You know what that is? Have you heard of that?
Wait, what is it?
Ask your kids about it. Italian. Everybody who has kids. Italian brain rot. Ask your kids if they know what that is. In fact, your kids are going to be impressed that you say that word to them and that phrase. They'll be like, how do you know what that is?
I'll ask them. But they still,
both. At least Chris for sure has heard it.
Probably. I don't know.
There's like these different little memes and phrases they say. I don't, but it's under the subcultural category Italian brain rot.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
You be saying shit. He was playing the game the other day. He's hacking.
Yeah.
He's hacking. Oh, that means that he's cheating. I said, oh, all right. I'm not going.
Yeah, the lingo's nuts.
Yeah. Read of the week. Me and my fiance are about to move in together and start our life as a family. I'm asking if I'm in the wrong in regards to my fiance not wanting to get rid of his ex clothes. I'm asking, and I have been asking him to get rid of his ex clothes and belongings that he has had in his house, in his bedroom. Her stuff is everywhere.
Okay.
He is very hesitant and in a way of refusing to do so. He keeps making up reasons why he doesn't want to give her stuff back and be done once and for all. I've been asking all over the month. Am I in the wrong because I keep asking him to let go of her and her belongings? So I'm insecure am I insecure that they are not?
She
over?
need to let go of this motherfucker.
I'm glad you said that. All right.
It sound like
thought we were gonna fight.
What the hell?
All right, just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
The fuck?
That's crazy.
What the hell?
Now this is part of This is part of having good friends.
Holly Berry.
You gotta have a good friend. But you know what though? I got even in the past. Let me
fiance.
I've had friends like this.
Expecting.
Family members like that.
Is the bitch's shit like everywhere or it's like a box?
I don't know.
What's the impression you got?
It said in the house, bedroom, stuff. She used to live there.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, why are we bringing our child home to this bitch's house?
I don't know they got kids yet, but at some point.
She's pregnant, didn't she say expecting?
I don't know if she said that.
Oh, did I make that up?
Yeah, I think you made that part up. Yeah. But she was expecting to be expecting.
Like I just added her layers.
But they're getting married.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but something that was finite. Like, getting married is kind of final.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way, because you always going to be linked to that person as my ex-wife. You know what I mean?
That's weird. Give that bitch his shit back or throw it away.
Yeah, I thought she was crazy for not just, like ending it. Like, give man an ultimatum. You
know what's funny is I actually just got back some jewelry from a guy that
How many years went by?
It was, you know how when I was like, I'm not going to be distracted, I'm going to be a good girl, and then I had to come over here and tell everybody I had a month of, like, being a hoe?
Yeah.
Okay, so
not being a hoe, just being free.
Yeah, being free, being out on the streets.
Yes.
So during that month, I had a rendezvous, and I left, like, this ring, some of my sister gave me this. It's a Pandora ring. Each star represents each of my child. She gave it to me for Mother's Day. Like,
were you actively trying to get him back though this whole time?
So me and him were trying to, but he was also military, so he was out of town sometimes. We just couldn't. It's been like, God, 5 months. Like, we just could not seem to like link up. And he just hit me up last week and was like, he was like, I'm in a relationship now, and I don't want there to be any kind of misunderstanding. He was like, I don't feel right just throwing this stuff away because I know how important it is to you. Can we please, like, make it happen? And after, like, a long-ass day, I was on one side of town, and I drove all the way to Chula Vista and met him at a bar, and we were able to get my stuff back. But my point is, he was in a new relationship. He knew she was going to see it. He didn't want to have to say, like,
what happened?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so, like, he did the right thing, And so it's common sense, like, that you would get rid of whatever belongings, whether it's a girlfriend, a date, a one-night stand, whatever, before you're moving in your soon-to-be wife.
Yeah.
But, that reminds me, like, it makes me think of, like, when me and my the twins' dad got together, and I've told this story on here, and he had all the videos and all the footage and all the pictures of all kinds of different women on his phone.
Right.
Some very X-rated, you know, and I was like, before we actually got married, I was like, you need to get rid of all this stuff. Like, I'm not going to marry you while you have all these bitches in your phone still. Like, there's a bitch sucking your dick while you're driving on the highway.
That's
like,
crazy.
delete that. Like,
crazy.
I just seen a video of you sucking someone's titty. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and I remember it being
with
like,
kids, I be real weary of having that stuff in the phone.
Yeah, I
anyway,
mean,
because my kids, no, I want to get on YouTube, and they're like, "Who's this?" I got.
Well, you know, at this point, that was he was living as a single man,
right?
But I think a day or two before our wedding day, it was still there, and I was hot. I'm like, why are you holding on to this? The day of when I went, it was gone. But I'm like, why are you waiting to the final hour? Like, and he told me, and then I was even more mad because I'm like, you ain't never made no nasty videos like this with me. He's like, because you're my wife.
That's a good reason.
How is that? See, this is the kind of man. Okay. See, that's the kind of man logic I don't know. You're pissing me off. Get that smile off your face.
I'm gonna let you get off. I'll let you. I want to hear it.
Because you're not the only man I've said this story to.
My wife is like this too. It's why it's funny.
They've co-signed him as well. Because even when we're like at the club, like, and I'm dancing, my husband did not like me dancing, like grinding on him. He was like, you know, we could dance, but he didn't like if I'm like over here trying to back that ass up.
That's different.
He was like, I don't want like other men seeing you being like that. Like, but that went to the same attitude of him not wanting to video us in these intimate moments, but he's willing to do it.
Why do you want it? Or why would you welcome it?
I'm into some freaky shit, so that's just me. Like, let's be real, I'm into some freaky shit. But like with it felt more like, if you're gonna do it with them, these, you know, bitches, like, then why not? And that's what he would say. They're just bitches. Like, you're my wife. Like, I wouldn't want anyone to see this, or like there's a different level of respect here. I don't know. It just
I would make sure that you was cool with it, but I think that like.
Why?
Okay.
Explain it to me. I don't get it.
He comes from a different culture, but what I can tell you is culture-wise where this sounds like. You know how you got shoes? I got shoes that I use specifically for baseball practice.
Yeah.
These ones is not going to baseball.
Of course not.
I treat them completely different. I take these shoes on different occasions, right? They got a different esteem with them. I brought these out because you said me and Zoe was coming out here homeless, so I was like,
"You looking?
Let me show like I get a little bit dressed, right?"
I had a listener bring that up.
Yeah. So I'd be like, "Yo, you know, like, but y'all like the nice shoes.
We do.
No. Not that y'all like them, right? Y'all are compared to like for a man." He probably valued motorcycles or a vehicle or something.
Yeah.
And he probably vacuumed the car or shined the bike a little differently.
Okay.
Or whatever it is. When men have keepsakes, they treat it differently from the other things that they have. And what I'm saying is like to me, my wife is a keepsake.
Yeah.
So I treat her in a different esteem than I would treat the other women. So I understand what he's saying. Now, if you said, when y'all getting your shit off, right? Like, how you know I don't like that shit too, and that's our moment, cool. But also I got this thing where it's like, yo, the shit I get off in the bedroom, don't tell me that when the sun's up. Don't tell me when I whisper to you. Don't tell me. Don't say that shit out loud.
You get shy. You little shy.
It's not that I'm shy. That's not me.
It's two different people.
That's Dr. Jekyll.
Have you?
I'm Mr. Hyde right now. I'm chilling.
Some of the shit.
I know. You want to hear that?
And then you're in the kitchen. You ever have the flashbacks where you're like,
I'll say something around there, but don't say what I said verbatim.
Nah, I be in the kitchen.
Shame be hitting
the next day. I mean, like, you know.
And I be in there like, he said that?
Doing domesticated duties, and I be like, I said.
Yeah, no, that wasn't I. That was he.
Stick it where?
She said that. She said that? Because that's not me. The sun was down and it was dark in there. It's a different person. Like the serotonin was hitting differently at that point. Like, you're not about to repeat that. Like,
shit,
me and my wife talk about that shit. Like, no, you're not bringing it. Don't bring that up. Like that. I don't even know who that guy is.
You ever never been able to like look each other in the eye kind of first thing? Like, damn, we did some real nasty shit.
Not even just that, right?
Like,
My man's the one that you brought up earlier. We call him the collector. He got all our videos over the years.
Oh,
so he got you know that friend
exactly.
And he had sent me a video last week of some shit that I was. Do I want to say this? Let's do it. Fuck it. We out of here.
We out of here.
I'm at the urinal. I don't even know what time this was. Again, I went to a lot of parties. We was out, but he's video recording me. And this actually got to another thing. But I was talking crazy.
Oh shit.
And I'm looking at me, just young too. I'm the same size, but the weight looked different, right? I'm the same size now as I was then when he showed me. I'm thankful to say that. But I'm like, ew. And my wife was like, ew, who is that? Like, I was like, hey, that's a version of me that I'm glad you never met because we would have never been together. You know what I mean? So exactly. It's like there's some shame and guilt of like who I was, but then again, it doesn't talk to your growth process.
No.
But yeah, I mean, in this instance and overall what we talking about, I agree. Like, yeah, he should have got rid of, you know, all the old girl stuff. He's just not ready to commit.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I'd be afraid for those dudes. I know a lot of them. Where it's like, bro, look, man, it's over. Matter of fact, the girl he's saving her shit.
She don't have a baby daddy probably.
Yeah, she out right now getting wined and dined, bro. Live your life. Look, message, fellas.
Message.
If the girl's not answering the phone when you call her, she sound irritated and y'all ain't got no kids or nothing, she's gone.
That part.
Maybe if you got some kids, you know, you could probably get your baby moms back in some vulnerable moments or whatever because she having a hard time. But right now, not the single kids. I mean, single ladies with no kids, bro.
No.
It's not happening. She's, for lack of a better term, for the streets.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, let her go. Some of these dudes, man, they don't take. What I've learned is this generation of men, we don't take L's well.
Oh yeah, I know. You guys get so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you ain't even got to do all that. Somebody was telling me something. Yeah, it's just like, bro, I don't know, man. I've heard way too much. Like,
yeah, no, he's tripping. He needs to get rid of that shit ASAP.
Or she need to leave him alone.
Or she need, on that part. You know, I'm no one to judge, obviously.
Right.
But as women, we really have to work on healing our own attachment styles. We got to work on healing our own inner wounds. We got to learn how to love ourselves so we can set better boundaries. So we're not even ending up engaged to somebody like this.
Right.
And vice versa, men as well, you know?
Absolutely. All right. Shows to watch.
Oh.
So if y'all remember, they had that submarine story that was a big thing about 2-3 years ago.
Implosion.
And they were trying.
Is that what you're talking about?
It's called Ocean Gate something. It might say implosion. I don't know.
Is it the guys, the rich people who the Titanic?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I watched that on Netflix. You watched it too?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm
think
glad we're in our
maybe
same
it's on
bag.
Prime.
Mine was on Netflix.
What about the rich guy and him making the submarine and he knew it wasn't safe?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's it.
Crazy.
That kind of goes into a lot of things that's been going on in the world. But I was watching this shit. My wife asked me if I finished. But look, man, white men and they pride and how far they want to take shit or whatever when they feel like they making some type of conquest and want to, you know, compare themselves to Napoleon and like Jeff Bezos and all these people and shit. That shit needs to be studied. Right? Because there were all the signs. I never knew the story.
Me neither.
Right? All I knew is there was a submarine, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, yo, everything was legit.
Yeah.
And like the shit just got lost at sea.
No.
So long story less long,
negligent.
Yes, very. Like very irresponsible with people's lives.
Not even negligent, just intentional.
Yeah. And what we was talking about earlier, which really got me when I'm thinking about this in comparison, was like, yo, like just knowing, like sometimes you just gotta hit the reset button, right? So like knowing this story, right, about this guy, or even people, that was the thing. People not knowing how to, I was talking about the court shit and communicating and me knowing like what that language is, and you saying that you are being a broker to those same people, right? There's a lot of people that are ignorant to things, like people who, it's a lot of misinformation and what's really certified. I was calling you about the Labubu shit, right? Yeah. And it's like, yo, you got to talk to somebody who knows about these things before you start working in with people. Because if shit ain't accredited or if it ain't got like, you know, enough reviews on it, I'm not starting anything new because I don't know if it's legit. So in this story about Ocean Gate, which is, the submarine, the guy wanted to build a submarine. He was like really big into like the ocean and discovering things. And he really wanted to get into the Titanic and like going down there. He had to build his own submarine to be able to do so. So the crazy part is that my man had went to Boeing, and if you guys know anything about Boeing is the airline makers or whatever, and he wanted to make a fiberglass ship that would go down there. But if y'all don't know anything about the ocean, the pressure changes down there. So he was testing the fiberglass, that like the little design that Boeing gave him, and they gave him a warning. Like 7 years before, like, yo, man, like we gave you this design or whatever, but like you might want to test it out or whatever if you're going to use fiberglass and all this other stuff. So my man started the testing, and he was testing it based off of the sounds it would make at that low depth to show like that it can handle the pressure.
Yeah.
So, and then also the guys were like, that's not even a good way of like, testing it
not
in the first place. Not even a good
measure.
Yeah, it's not a good measurement of doing it, but he was doing that. But he was taking that shit down there a few times
with people
hearing the cracking sounds, and people were quitting like, yo, I don't want to be a part of this shit. And he was like, no, I want to do this. And he was so arrogant that he wanted to do it himself. And that ultimately ended up ending those people's lives.
Absolutely.
And so they were going back and checking things throughout the history books, right? He wasn't licensed or wasn't able to do it here in America. He circumvented it through Canada to get the approval and was dropping it in the water from there and then going in there. He didn't want to put a line on the end of the thing. He wanted it to free fall on its own, instead of like securing it so it can get pulled back up if there was an issue. Like so much of this shit that it's like, fam, that is so recognizable to this day with like the presidency, the political atmosphere that we're in right now. Like people are so willing to die on the hill because they have so much invested in an interest that they don't want to go back and say, hey, I'm wrong, or start from scratch because of whatever the case may be. Pride more than anything.
Yes.
Right? And finances and all those things.
Yeah.
If you run out of money, it's not for you. So I watched it. It was a good watch. It's real quick. I think it's like an hour and a half. But yeah, real sad, man. I really feel for those families. It was a man and his son that was down there and whatnot. And yeah, man, I just remember that being a big thing 3 years ago. Like the ticking time clocks of like, hey, this is how much oxygen they had left. But when you watch it, they died instantaneously when it happened, and we wasted 3 or 4 days on something that we probably inevitably knew. Then they shared the text messages with the people that used to work there, and they're like, we know what happened. Yeah. So
in the morning, that was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched it. It was a good one. And then I went on because they were going down to see the Titanic, and so then I went on a little Titanic bender on ChatGPT. No, I've been watching. I was trying to think what I've been really watching, and I haven't been watching too much, but I've been sticking to my OGs, which is Sister Wives. Oh my goodness! If you have not watched Sister Wives, go watch it. I love it so much. And now we're at the point where...
Are they showing all three of them still? Because I know one of them had a child that passed and everything.
Oh, they covered it this season. Harrison. Oh, man. They did. I will give it to TNT. Not TNT. I don't know. Lifetime? Who?
No, it's not Lifetime.
Who produces it?
Man. TLC.
TLC, thank you. TNT. TLC.
I was like, yeah, it is TNT.
Right? They produced that heavy content very well. And Janelle, his mother, like, she's not a very emotional woman. I mean, I think of her on, like, the 22nd season, right?
Right.
And so her vulnerability and her just allowing herself to show more emotion than she ever has had, it was really powerful. So... but all of the wives are separated, and they were tasteful. They didn't do the funeral. Like the way they covered it, I thought was really, really well. But to the more lighthearted side of this is that, all the wives besides one, his last wife, are separated. And so now, the last few years, they don't even do a tell-all together. They can't even all sit on the same couch together anymore. So they're all individual interviews, but they all see each other's interviews. And it's crazy to, hear the inner feelings of how they were really feeling versus what they were saying, how they were feeling, you know. So I always like to go back and start it over, because just to see the dynamic, you know.
How it changed.
And how it changed. Okay. And then I've also been watching, if you are a Sex and the City fan, they rebooted it, but it's called And Just Like That on Max, I believe. It's so good.
My wife was watching it.
Yeah. It's like...
As a young and curious young man, I definitely watched HBO.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely tried to watch through the blank screen or the sparkling white noise screen to see if I could see her breast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all watch Sex and the City.
Kids these days don't know what we used to have to go through. That shit's so accessible to them
No,
now.
literally, you can Google it. So that's... Oh, my daughter started watching some show on Disney about kidnappings. What was it called?
Disney?
No, literally.
Where's Disney going now?
No,
with the
that's what I
content?
thought. They're like little mini documentaries. When the lights come on, you know, like make it, so, you know, some kind of reference to like the street lights coming on, being home before the street lights come on, something like that. But it's all like this. It's a mini doc series about all these young girls gone missing. I was like, Jaylee, but then, you know, I tell her, because sometimes, you know, when she's out walking our dog, she's like, well, I have Foxy. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Kids go missing walking their dog, riding their bike.
She sees that you're not just making that shit up.
Yeah, no. So that's like, that's why she brought it up. She was like, Mom, some of this stuff is, but she was very interested and it made her think. So, I mean, I haven't watched it yet. Jaylee found it on Disney, and it was on Disney, I saw. But it was enough to kind of get maybe her thinking about her surroundings, you know?
You brought up something that I think is interesting. For a long time, I always grapple with, like, should I censor my kids from certain things? But I also don't want them to grow up in a sheltered environment. So I try to tell them as much as the truth. Except for the other day, my daughter was like, where do babies come from? I said, God decides when you have babies when you turn 35.
You weren't ready?
I don't think she need to hear that now.
Yeah?
Hell nah. Not that part. At some point, I will have like a realistic conversation with her. But this ain't it. Like
it couldn't even be like from mommy's belly or... Like,
yeah, I'll do. This ain't the first time. Look, whatever we told her, she forgot.
You better
ask again.
Start, and this time start.
Well, she knows that's in mommy's belly. I don't say like you know. I want her to think of the Virgin Mary for now.
No,
like
you gotta start. If you start having light conversation about it now, when she's 13, when you really need to talk about it, it won't feel as awkward.
And I'll be like what my mom said, which I thought was great. And we talked about this a little bit last episode, where my mom was like, all right, you got to press the P.
Okay.
That shit worked, though.
Okay. So hopefully wifey will be...
You Google herpes one time, you be like, ooh, that looked like it hurt.
Well, you know, my dad, I'll never forget, a little quick, my dad was probably the opposite end of, like, being too comfortable and having conversation. My dad just didn't care. My dad was a ladies' man. So I'll never forget, I was, like, probably 15, 14, and we were inside Rite Aid or CVS, one of those drugstores, and I was experiencing my first yeast infection. And if you've ever had a yeast infection as a woman, it's very uncomfortable. It's a burning, itching sensation. And
it's common.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Because young dumb me would be like, "Oh, you got that?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what? You should clip this. People are gonna be like, "She's dirty. She got extra yeast."
No, because there's not a woman I don't know that's never had to battle that.
It can happen. Like for me, it was my dad lived up north, and so the weather changed. I was up there for the summer visiting him, and so it had an effect on my body, and it was my first time experience that. Like I remember having to I don't even know maybe I called my mom, but somebody told me, go to the drugstore, get the Monistat, 7-day, 3-day, whatever. So I'm there, I'm up in the summer, you know, with my dad, and he has to take me. I'm like, Dad, I need to go. I think I just tried to lie and say I was on my period.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he knew when he saw Monistat.
And so I couldn't get rid of him, right? So we're walking down the aisles, he's like following me. And I'm like trying to kind of lose him, but he just thinks we're like there or whatever. And finally I'm like, Dad, please, I need a little bit of privacy. And he's like, what? He's like, get your pads, get your, like, who cares? Come on. I'm like, Dad, please. And he's like, all right. So he like goes at the end of the aisle. So I'm like trying to figure out what 3 day, 7 day, what monostat, what the application, no application, by the way. 3 day with the application, best ladies. Anyway, so so the guy has to come and get it for me and whatever. And the guy hands it to me. So we go to the front. And so I put it up there. And I'm looking at my dad. He's like, oh, now you want me to pay for it? And I'm like, now you want me here? So we get in the car, and he's like, is this what you were tripping over? Because, he saw it, obviously, when he paid for it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'll never forget. This is clear, my father. He's like, girl, he's like, you could have asked me. He's like, I could have told you exactly what to get. He was like, I used to be a manager here. Besides that, he said, I've seen so much pussy, I'm a pussyologist. I was like...
That's kind of great. I ain't gonna say that. That's his generation, not me. I ain't saying that. That's wild.
I'm like, Dad, okay, I appreciate you wanting to support me through this moment. I'm like, but
the way you coming across is crazy.
Right now, please,
Which
Dad.
is crazy that you say that, because with the story that we talked about now, you're a carbon copy.
Am I... When people tell me all the time that I'm so much like my dad.
That's what I'm.
Everything's
when
starting
you
to
look
make
back,
sense.
but now think about how you felt in that moment. But that's what you retort to, because that's what you're used to.
Damn.
And so when you
that's
say,
why I'm so vulgar.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm so vulgar.
But when you said, "Hey, be open," it's like, nah, because I don't like the way you talking. Like, I think about how you felt in that moment, and like that was like his way of saying, "Be open." Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And now I was like, nah, you said it, but I don't fucking believe
the
you.
Resistance.
Yeah, like, nah, you might trip. Like, nah, that's funny. That's great. Because you know what? I have my mom's personality. It's funny that you said that, because like my dad called. We was leaving a tournament with my daughter on Thursday. We played together. Long story less on. My mom came.
So cute.
But my dad called. And I was like, I asked her like 2 hours before. I was like, yo, did he call you? It was like 6 o'clock. My dad go to the gym every day. So she's like, nah, I ain't worried about blah, blah. He probably just going to call me and ask if I cook something. So he calls about 6:30, and she answers the phone. And if I do the tone, you going to know. She's like, hello? Yeah, we just, leaving the tournament right now. Just blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's not her tone.
Yeah.
I said, she's fucking with him right now, right? And then she was like, I'm out. I'm just out. Right? I was like, yo, you not answering what he want to hear. And now he going real pro. And then I was like, yo, I turned to her there. I said, yo,
I'm just out.
I turned to her there. I said, I'm sorry. I was like, I do the same shit to you. Like, I be playing these games with you and shit all the time, whatever.
And I'm the fuck you are.
And I'm sitting here listening. I was like, yo, this is what it sound like what you be going through with me day to day. Like, I get it now.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessary. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. But just know that I had this moment where I snapped out of it and was like, yo, but I know where I get it from. So
just playing little silly games.
Yeah.
Always trying to fuck with somebody.
For no reason.
Yeah,
like, I'm just out. Like, we was on the way home. You could have told her we was on the way home. But, obviously she ain't
I'm with
do
the
that.
Kids. No. You don't need to know where I'm at.
No, that shit.
I'm grown.
Mad unnecessary, man. You don't have to do none of that shit, man. Like, you can be upfront and honest about everything. This is the last thing. We're gonna go. Oh shit. Well, fuck it. Here we go. Clap it up. Yeah. Make sure I look up at the clap it up time. Again, Lex wasn't lying about this shit going off on his own. 3 cheers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna get us out of here. Go ahead.
Oh shoot! I need to look my notes.
Mine's just okay. Then mine's just gonna stimulate conversation.
Okay.
This is not necessarily your run in the mill of me cheering something on. It's more so of an acknowledgement of, yo, man, we about to be in a real tough situation. Over the weekend, if you guys haven't found out by now, well, 3 cheers to Oklahoma City Thunder. They won the NBA Finals today. Very good competitive series from some small market teams. Obviously, it's boring to watch because they're small market teams for certain people, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. But also this weekend, we found out that the U.S. had some airstrikes that they had on Iran.
Iran.
And so with that being said, right, whether you think one side is bad and the other side is good, right, I struggle with this because I never knew the history.
Oh, like the biblical history?
Not even just the biblical, like the geographical history as to why
the importance of this.
Why are we involved?
Yeah.
Right. In general, right. Obviously, there's some interest that the U.S. has in regards to whatever resources these countries, have in that area, and we want to exploit that for some reason. But I got into the history of like how everyone got involved in the first place.
Yeah.
So I would urge y'all, before you choose a side, because what it really sound like to me is like, yo, we could really mind our own business and not flex and put ourselves in the predicaments that we don't need to be put in.
Exactly.
If you look back, the Ottoman Empire was running strong all the way up until the First World War, right? And you can go fact check this, right? But a lot of these problems stem from World War I. So when someone tells me that, I instantaneously start doing math and being like, yo, shit deeper than rap, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why are we here right now?
Because the beefs are always deep when it comes to land.
The shit
Biblical deep.
Yeah. So it's like, there were families and special interest groups like earlier on in the World War I time when the Ottoman Empire like ruled, and if you know, they were kind of like Americans. They were made up of like Jews, people of Islamic faiths, different Zionists and stuff like that. Long story less long. When the Ottoman Empire like came to its end, the Britain. Some other places that were, I think other places, special interest groups in the UK and the US got involved later on, were promising land to people. And they were promising resources and promising, political structures to be set up, right? So when you start talking about a Gaza Strip and like feeling like, oh, this was owed to us and it was owed to us, a lot of this stuff was like them taking it away from the Ottoman Empire and trying to establish. So like they'll sit here and these special interest groups have come up over the years, over the hundreds of years, and have, started these issues from that point, which has led us to, okay, well, we have genocide from this country, right? We have weapons being made and stuff like this, and who bombed who first and who did this and who did that. That goes way deeper than what it needs to. And so I've seen people kind of skate, right? Where it was like, yo, like Trump said that he was going to bring peace, and do things that another president wasn't able to do, right? But I think some of the tactics that we're taking right now are only going to lead to things getting worse. And my biggest fear is that it's just like a regular fight. You see your homegirl getting jumped or whatever, you want to jump in, right? And so like my concern would be some of these bigger nations that do have a bone to pick with us joining up because they just want to join up to see our downfall. Who knows what that looks like, right? But I just feel like 3.5 years is a long time with this gentleman, in which we're going to have to endure things like this. We have the protests, we have the issues going on with ICE. Like America's in a very, very vulnerable state, which no one's, on that side is willing to acknowledge. They want to talk about making America great again, but all that other stuff, like I don't want to make us great by being bullies, and we're already hated as it is, so
yeah, it's very, very fragile times. And I think that like I saw something interesting. It was a white woman, and she was like, if women like me were getting snatched off the street, if women who look like me were getting snatched off the street, detained with no documentation, no due process, families weren't notified, like people would be up in arms, and people think that it's not them until it's them, and right. So I think we have to be very quiet, you have to be very considerate if this is a time where you want to be quiet, because maybe for whatever reason you're not being directly impacted. Don't think just because once they're done with one group of people, they're moving to the next. Right. Your ticket is coming, so be wary about where you want to stand on the side of history.
I mean, I just get it like from if a group of people had something that I didn't have and it made them, better, right? Or it made them more intimidating to where they didn't, fight with. I can see why Iran would want to start, building their own nuclear facilities and stuff like that, right? Because Russia has that capability, Korea has that capability, China has that capability, the U.S. has that capability, right? So it's like, it's hard to sit here and draw a line on somebody when you allow others to have it. And you can sit here and say like, oh, well, it's the danger. Well, we're all a danger. right? Human beings are an invasive species, right?
Yeah.
And so as much as I care about the earth and all these other things, like dropping bombs on people and, you know, turning things to rubble and, you know, displacing people from their homes and shit, like all of that stuff to me is crazy. And and you know, obviously you know, on our side you get weary of, well, we don't want everybody to have this capability. But also on the other side of that argument is, who are you to say that we can't? And so
Exactly.
the people that are affected are the civilians and stuff like that who are impacted because of these decisions, because of our, you know, political ideologies across the nations and stuff like that, and factions and the relationships and stuff, man. But, you know, hopefully we can continue with peace, because right now where human beings are at right now, we can really wreck the planet. So
yeah, it's scary. Yeah, good Lord, I don't even know. It feels like if you're not keeping up with it, if you're not kind of at least keeping a toe in the political waters, which at this point it is not really where you lie as far as, like, you know, blue, red. Really, you should just be paying attention to what's going on, because it can soon impact your day-to-day life.
right.
You know, like when, you know, they were thinking about bringing in the National Guard, if we would have had California would have had a curfew. Yeah, everybody wants to act like, and they were going to call
had one, though.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you're talking about the full California.
Exactly. If they were going to call, when they were thinking about declaring the whole state declaration of emergency, it's like, then that gets extended, and then it goes on from there, you know? So it's just like, I think that in this climate, like, it doesn't matter if you voted for him or not. It doesn't matter if this is our problem or not. It's like, you gotta be at least just keeping an ear to the street, as they say. Like, you know, keep an ear to the street. Know what's up. Know what's happening.
Absolutely.
Just be a little informed. I beg of you all. Just like, just a smidge bit, okay? But my 3 cheers, if we're ready for that.
Absolutely.
Did you have anything else you wanted to
Nah,
add?
that was it. I just wanted to make sure that everybody stay informed, man.
Exactly.
And inform yourself before you choose a side. Because like I said, I think that, again, we getting into, it's like big brother, little sister, big sister, whatever. We getting into deep-rooted issues that are, you know, far extending. And so we just got to be...
And there's a lot of
cognizant.
propaganda. So you really need to take the time to educate yourself.
Absolutely. Because I read the Twitter shit, and then some of that shit's insane about how people won't fact check themselves. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's nuts. But in lighter news, it is summertime in San Diego, and my favorite series that was popping last summer has returned. It's called Blanket Sounds. It is over there at the Waterfront Park. It is a family-friendly full-day music and live art festival. I went to every installment last summer. Oh, it was such a vibe. Live music, multi-generational, multicultural, live art installations. And so they will be having performances on June 28th, July 20th, August 24th, and September 21st. They are actually seeking performers and artists. They are also looking for vendors. So if you have a business, whether it's an organization or you actually sell something, they are accepting vendors. So go ahead and reach out. They're also looking for artists for art installations. So you can find them at Blanket Sounds on Instagram, DM them, and then also you can check out the website. It's family friendly, picnics welcomed, and it's free. So 4 shows all summer long. Definitely check it out. And if you want to get in there to perform or be a vendor spot, hit them up because they're accepting people right now.
There we go. Blanket Sounds.
Yeah, you gotta come one time.
I gotta do something, man.
You gotta, especially
with these planes falling out of the sky and shit. I ain't going nowhere, so I gotta make use of San Diego.
Exactly. You got 2 shows, August 24th or September 21st, because you're about to get your Sundays back.
No, they're gone.
Oh, what do you?
I got Saturdays back.
Okay.
Yeah. Sundays we with this new team, so.
Okay, well.
Yeah. A little less demanding than the team we was on last year, which is great for me. So. And with that, we out.
Yeah.